Hare Krishna, my friends, and welcome to Bhaktiville. Tonight we're continuing with the First Canto, third chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter is titled Krishna is the Source of All Incarnations, and in it will be explained the various Vishnu expansions and incarnations. This chapter expands on the answer to the questions 4 and 5 that the sadhus asked at the beginning. Number 4, the fourth question was, tell us of the acts of the Lord, or acts that the Lord performs in relationship to creating the material world. And the fifth question is, describe the activities of the incarnations of the Lord. So it's quite a comprehensive chapter. So I freely admit that I don't understand all of this, but I will try to explain it as best I can through the text that we're reading and with some added illustrations. So we're on the First Canto, Chapter 3, Text 2. That's on page 137 of the book, or page 164 of the PDF. And here in Bhaktiville, Kandita and Bhaktiville are joining us. So great to see you guys. So let's get started with offering obeisances. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. And to the devotees here listening to the streaming, listening to the recording, Vaishnavas all around the world, all around the universe. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Oh, Bhaktiville is doing the board again. Okay, I'll stop hitting the arrows. Okay, here we go. The verses that we sing before reading Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now I have these on my computer and they're in the opposite order. So here we go. Let's see. Yeah. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim swarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantasto Yabhadrani Vidunoti Surit Satam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. The last one. Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. All right, page 164 of the PDF, or page 137 of the book, text 2. And let's, if you could forward this, Bhaktiville, the slideshow up to plate 11, and then there's a picture right after plate 11 that I want to show. There'll be 2 pictures. Thank you. All right, so we'll do call and response and then go through the verse. Yasyam pasi shayanasya yasyam basi shayanasya yoganidram vitanvataha yoganidram vitanvataha nabi Radambujad Asid Nabi Hridambujad Asid Brahma Vishvashrijam Patihi Brahma Vishvashrijam Patihi. All right, let's do it all together. Yasyambasi Shayanasya Yoga Nidram Vitanvataha Nabi Hridam Bujad Asid Brahma Vishva Shrajam Patihi. Word for word. And you can say it along with me if you like. Yasya, whose, Ampasi, in the water, Shayanasya, lying down, Yoga Nidram, sleeping in meditation, Vitanvataha, ministering, Nabhi, navel, Shrida, out of the lake, Ambujat, from the lotus, Asit, was manifested, Brahma, the grandfather of the living beings, Vishva, the universe, Srijam, the engineers, Patihi, master. Translation. A part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe, and from the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop the stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. So we've got this picture here of that. So here's Vishnu laying on Sheshanaga, Lakshmi at his feet, and then coming out of his navel is the lotus with Brahma at the top, inside the flower. It's not, is it blurry for you? It's still blurry for me. It's fine, okay. All right, so in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains all of these things. So the first Purusha is the Karanodakshai Vishnu. So that is this Vishnu, the Karanodakshai Vishnu. And from his skin holes, from his pores, innumerable universes have sprung up. So all those little round globes are different universes. In each and every one of them, the Purusha enters as the Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So that's the second one. And that's, so within each one of these balls, these globes, is this, a Vishnu like this. He is lying within half of the universe, which is full with the water of his body, and from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu has sprung up the stem of the lotus flower, the birthplace of Brahma, who is the father of all living beings and the master of all the demigod engineers engaged in the perfect design and working of the universal order. Within the stem of the lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary systems, and the earthly planets are situated in the middle. Upwards, there are other better planetary systems, and the topmost system is called Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. Downwards from the earthly planetary system, there are 7 downwards planetary systems, domiciled by the asuras and similar other materialistic living beings. From this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the second one, there is an expansion of the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. This is the third one, who is the collective, the collective Paramatma of all living beings. He is called Hari, and from him all incarnations within the universe are expanded. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Purusha avatar is manifested in 3 features. First, the Karanadakashaya Vishnu, who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahatattva, and that's what we read in the first verse last week of this chapter. Second, the Garbhodakashayi, who enters in each and every universe. And the third, the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, organic or inorganic. So 1, 2, 3, there we go. One who knows these plenary features of the personality of Godhead knows also him, Godhead, properly, and thus the knower becomes freed from the material conditions of birth, death, old age, and disease, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. In this shloka, the subject matter of Mahavishnu is summarized. The Mahavishnu lies down in some part of the spiritual sky by his own free will, and thus he lies on the ocean of Karana, from where he glances over his material nature, and the Mahatattva is at once created. Thus electrified by the power of the Lord, the material nature creates at once innumerable universes, just as in due course a tree is decorated with innumerable grown-up fruit. The seed of the tree is sown by the cultivator, and the tree or creeper in due course becomes manifested with so many fruits. Nothing can take place without a cause. The Karna ocean is therefore called the causal ocean. Karana means causal. We should not foolishly accept the atheistic theory of creation. The description of the atheist is given in Bhagavad Gita. The atheist does not believe in the Creator, but he cannot give a good theory to explain the creation. Material nature has no power to create without the power of the Purusha, just as a Prakriti, or woman, cannot produce a child without the connection of a Purusha. The Purusha impregnates, and the Prakriti delivers. We should not expect milk from the fleshy bags on the neck of a goat, although they look like breastly nipples. Similarly, we should not expect any creative power from the material ingredients. We must believe in the power of the Purusha, who impregnates Prakriti or nature. And because the Lord wished to lie down in meditation, the material energy created innumerable universes at once, and in each of them the Lord laid himself down, and thus all the planets and the different paraphernalia were created at once by the will of the Lord. The Lord has unlimited potencies, and thus he can perform as he likes by perfect planning, although personally he has nothing to do, and no one is greater than or equal to him. That is the verdict of the Vedas. All right, we got it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Okay, here we go. Text 3. Call and response. Yasya Vayava Samstanai. Yasya Vayava Samstanai. Kalpito Loka Vistaraha. Kalpito Loka Vistaraha. Tadvai Bhagavato Rupam. Tadvai Bhagavato Rupam. Vishuddham Sattvam Urjitam. Vishuddham Sattvam Urjitam. Okay, all together. Yasya Vayava Samstanai Kalpito Loka Vish. Oh, I should be singing, sorry. I don't like singing it, but I'll sing it. Yasyai Vayava Samstanai Kalpito Loka Vistara Tadvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishuddham Sattvam Urjitam. All right, that was okay. Yasya, whose of avayava, bodily expansion, samstanai, situated in, kalpitaha, is imagined, loka, planets of inhabitants, vistaraha, various, tatvai, but that is, bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead, rupam, form, vishuddham, purely, sattvam, existence, urjitam, excellence. Translation. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. Purport. The conception of the Virata Rupa, or Vishvarupa, that's the universal form, of the Supreme Absolute Truth, is especially meant for the neophyte, who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. He's talking about Radha and Krishna together there, the transcendental form. To him, this neophyte, this form means something of this material world, and therefore an opposite conception of the Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of the Mahatattva, which includes all material ingredients. That's that first verse of the chapter. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord himself personally are one in one sense, but at the same time, the Mahatattva is different from the Lord. This is speaking about the total material creation. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. The conception of the Viratarupa, especially for the impersonalist, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. So I do want to stop for a second. So Mahat Tattva, so Mahat means large, and Tattva means principle or axiom. So we use the word Tattva for a lot of different things, but a Tattva is a statement which is established or accepted or is self-evidently true. So this is Mahat Tattva. This is self-evidently true. This total material creation. So just to add a little meaning to that phrase, because Prabhupada uses it a lot, Mahat Tattva. So this external form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of the Mahat Tattva, and it is stressed here that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence spiritual or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and the formation of his multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality, without any touch of the Mahat Tattva. Kandita asks, isn't Tattva also meaning energies? Yeah. Usually it's a principle, though. So the big picture, energies, Tattva. I don't know. I'll have to look and see how Prabhupada, in the Veda base, you can look up a word and see how they use the word in all the different translations. I did not do that with this, but it's something that I can do, and I will report back. Text 4. Word for word call and response. Pasyantyado rupam adabra chakshusha. Pasyantyado rupam adabra chakshusha. Sahasra padoru. Sahasra padoru. Bhujanad bhutam. Bhujana nadbhutam. Yes, Kandita says, like Panchatattva means the 5 transcendental energies. Yes. And Vishnu Tattva, yes. It also, it means that, but it also means that there's a concept behind that, a principle that that means more than just energies. It means much more. It's a principle. It's a, I don't know how else to say it. It's a proposition. It's a statement of belief. Yes, you can see it as both, but it's a statement of belief, a tattva, a principle. The Panchatattva, yes, it's 5 transcendental energies, but it's also this concept of all of them together that is more than just the 5. Yes. Bhaktiville says Panchatattva is also the highest principle. I just want to, I think it's important, I love this discussion. I think it's important to take the words apart and look at the words and see how it applies to what's being expressed in Prabhupada's purports. Because it's not just Mahatattva, he's talking about the whole of creation, and that's a principle. It's more than just energies. It's everything, all the material things. So each one of these phrases that Prabhupada uses that we've become kind of inured to, that, oh, Mahatattva, oh, Panchatattva, it means more than that. So I just want to point that out. The result of the principle is the energy. Yes. So they're together. Bhaktiville said that the result of the principle is the energy. Or the result of the energy is the principle. So I think they're linked. They're linked, and I just want to emphasize that linkage and imbue these phrases with a little more meaning. Yes, like a math axiom, exactly. So that's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to turn it into something else. I just want to give it a little bit more depth of meaning. I don't think we finished this text 4. I got carried away there on the comments. Okay, so I think we're on the 3rd line of text 4. Sahasra Murdha Shravanakshi Nasikam. Sahasra Murdha Shravanakshi Nasikam. Sahasra Murda Shravanakshi Nasikam. Sahasra Mauli Ambara Kundalo Latsat. Sahasra Mauli Ambara Kundalo Lasat. All right, this has a different meter, but I'll try and sing it anyway. Pashyanti adorupam abhadra chakshusha Sahasrapaduro bhujo nanadbhutam. Oh, we're singing it all together, sorry. Sahasramurda shravanakshinnasikam Sahasramaliambara kundalolasat. Word for word. Pashanti, see. Adha, the form of the Purusha. Rupam, form. Adabra, perfect. Chakshusha, chakshusa, by the eyes. Sahasrapada, thousands of legs. Uru, thighs. Bhuja anana, hands and faces. Adbhutam, wonderful. Sahasra, thousands of. Murda, heads. Shravana, ears. Akshi, eyes. Nasikam, noses. Sahasra, thousands. Mauli, garlands. Ambara, dresses. Kundala, earrings. Ulasat, all glowing. Translation. The devotees, with their perfect eyes, see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs, thighs, arms, and faces, all extraordinary. In that body there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and earrings and are adorned with garlands. Purport. With our present materialized senses, we cannot perceive anything of the Transcendental Lord. Our present senses are to be rectified or purified by the process of devotional service, and then the Lord becomes himself revealed to us. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the Transcendental Lord can be perceived only by pure devotional service. And here's that verse, Bhagavad Gita 11:54. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. What a great verse. All right, back to the purport. So it is confirmed in the Vedas that devotional service can lead one to the side of the Lord, and that devotional service only can reveal him. In the Brahma Samhita also it is said that the Lord is always visible to the devotees whose eyes have been anointed with the tinge of devotional service. And here's that translation of that verse. It's number 38. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shamasundara, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. All right, back to our purport. So we have to take information of the transcendental form of the Lord from persons who have actually seen him with perfect eyes smeared with devotional service. In the material world also, we do not always see things with our own eyes, but through the experience of those who have actually seen or done things. If that is the process for experiencing a mundane object, it is more perfectly applicable in matters transcendental. So with patience and perseverance only, we can realize the transcendental subject matter regarding the absolute truth and his different forms. He is formless to the neophytes, but he is in transcendental form to the expert servitor. What would you like me to read over again? The Brahma Samhita verse? Okay, here it is. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shamasundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. I mean, Brahma Samhita is pure poetry. Very cool, I agree. Such astounding poetry, the Brahma Samhita. All right, text 5. Call and response. Etan nanavataranam. Etan nanavataranam. Nidhanam bijam avyayam. Nidhanam bijam avyayam. Yasyam shamshena shrijyante. Yasyam shashena shrijyante. Devatiryan naradayaha. Devatiryan naradayaha. All right, let's sing it together. Etan nanavataranam nidhanam bijam avyayam yasyam shamshena shrijyante devatiryam naradayaha. Word for word. Etat, this form. Nana, multifarious. Avataranam, of the incarnations. Nidhanam, source. Bijam, seed. Avyayam, indestructible. Yasya, whose. Amsha, plenary portion. Amshena, part of the plenary portion. Shrijyante, create. Deva, demigods. Tiryak, animals. Nara, adayaha, human beings and others. Translation. This form, the second manifestation of Purusha, and we know that to be Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. And from the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. Purport. The Purusha, after creating innumerable universes in the Mahat Tattva, enters in each of them as the second Purusha, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. When he saw that within the universe there is all darkness and space only without a resting place, he filled up half of the universe with water out of his own perspiration, and laid himself down on the same water. This water is called Garbhodaka. Then, from his navel the stem of the lotus flower sprouted, and on the flower petals the birth of Brahma, or the master engineer of the universal plan, took place. Brahma became the engineer of the universe, and the Lord himself took charge of the maintenance of the universe as Vishnu. Brahma is generated from Rajaguna of Prakriti, or the mode of passion in nature, and Vishnu became the Lord of the mode of goodness. Vishnu, being transcendental to all the modes, is always aloof from the materialistic affection. This is already explained before. And from Brahma there is Rudra, Shiva, who is in charge of the modes of ignorance or darkness. He destroys the whole creation by the will of the Lord. Therefore all three, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, are incarnations of the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. From Brahma, the other demigods like Daksha, Marichyadi, Manu, and many others become incarnated to generate living entities within the universe. This Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is glorified in the Vedas in the hymns of Garbhastuti, which begin with a description of the Lord as having thousands of heads, etc. Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is the Lord of the universe, and although he appears to be lying within the universe, he is always transcendental. This is also already explained. Vishnu, who is the plenary portion of the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, is the super soul of the universal life, and he is known as the maintainer of the universe, or Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. So the three features of the original Purusha are thus understood, and all the incarnations within the universe are emanations from this Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. In different millennia, there are different incarnations, and they are innumerable, although some of them are very prominent, such as Matsya, the fish, or Kurma, the turtle, or Varaha, the boar, Rama, Nrsinga, Vamana, the dwarf, and many others. These incarnations are called Leela incarnations. Then there are qualitative incarnations, such as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, or Rudra, who take charge of the different modes of material nature. Lord Vishnu is non-different from the personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is in the marginal position between the personality of Godhead and the living entities, or jivas. Brahma is always a jiva tattva. Brahma is a manager position. So he's the highest pious living being, or the greatest devotee of the Lord, empowered with the potency of the Lord for creation, and he is called Brahma. His power is like the power of the sun, reflected in valuable stones and jewels. When there is no such living being to take charge of the post of Brahma, the Lord himself becomes a Brahma and takes charge of the post. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living being. He is the plenary portion of the Lord, but because Lord Shiva is in direct touch with material nature, he is not exactly in the same transcendental position as Lord Vishnu. The difference is like that between milk and curd. Curd is nothing but milk, and yet it cannot be used in the place of milk. The next incarnations are the Manus. Within 1 day's duration of the life of Brahma, which is calculated by our solar year as 4,300,000 times 1,000 years, there are 14 Manus. Therefore, there are 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma, and 5,040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years of his age, and therefore there are 5,040 times 100, or 504,000 Manus in the duration of Brahma's life. There are innumerable universes with one Brahma in each of them, and all of them are created and annihilated during the breathing time of the Purusha. Therefore, one can simply imagine how many millions of Manus there are during one breath of the Purusha. The Manus who are prominent within this universe are as follows: Yajna as Swayambhuva Manu, Vibhu as Svarochisha Manu, Satyasena as Uttama Manu, Hari as Tamasa Manu, Vaikuntha as Raivata Manu, Ajita as Chakshusha Manu, Vamana as Vaivasvata Manu. The present age is under the Vaivasvata Manu. Sarvabhuma as Savarni Manu, Rishab as Dakshashavarni Manu, Sudama as Ruja Sarvarni Manu, Yogeshwar as Devasa Varni Manu, and Brihadbanu as Indra Sarvani Manu. These are the names of one set of 14 Manus covering 4,300,000,000 solar years as described above. So I'm gonna take a little sidebar here and tell the story of Vaivasvata Manu, since that's our current Manu. So he's also known as Shraddhadev, and he is the king of the Dravida kingdom during the epic of the Matsya Purana. According to the Matsya Purana, Matsya, the avatar of Vishnu, first appeared as a shapari, a small carp, to Shraddhadev, while he washed his hands in a river flowing down the Malaya Mountains. Malaya Mountains is where all the sandalwood trees grow. So this little fish asked the king to save him. Out of compassion, he put it in a water jar. It kept growing bigger and bigger until the king first put it in a bigger pitcher and then put it in a well. When the well also proved insufficient for the ever-growing fish, the king placed it in a reservoir, and that was 16 miles in height above the surface on land, and as much in length, and 8 miles in breadth. As it grew further, the king had to put the fish in a river, and when even the river proved insufficient, he placed it, I lost my place. He placed it in the ocean, after which it nearly filled the vast expanse of the great ocean. It was then that Vishnu, revealing himself, informed the king of an all-destructive deluge, which would be coming very soon. The king built a huge boat, which housed his family, 9 types of seeds and animals to repopulate the earth after the deluge would end. The oceans and seas would recede. At the time of the deluge, Vishnu appeared as a horned fish, and Shesha appeared as a rope, with which the king fastened the boat to the horn of the fish. The boat was perched after the deluge on the top of the highest peak of Himavat, called Nabandana. After the deluge, Manu's family and the 7 stages repopulated the earth. According to the Puranas, Manu's story occurs before the 28 Chatur Yugas in the present Manvantara, which is the 7th Manvantara. So there we have it. There's our current Vaivasvata Manu. Yes, Kandita says, just like Noah's Ark. Yes. So that's the story of our current Manu. But let me finish up this purport. So then there are the Yuga avatars, or the incarnations of the millennia. The Yugas are known as Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. The incarnations of each Yuga are of different color. The colors are white, red, black, and yellow. In the Dvapara Yuga, Lord Krishna in black color appeared, and in the Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya in yellow color appeared. So all the incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. There is no scope for an impostor to become an incarnation, for he must be mentioned in the Shastras. An incarnation does not declare himself to be an incarnation of the Lord, but great sages agree by the symptoms mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The features of the incarnation and the particular type of mission which he has to execute are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Apart from the direct incarnations, there are innumerable empowered incarnations. They are also mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Such incarnations are directly as well as indirectly empowered. When they are directly empowered, they are called incarnations, but when they are indirectly empowered, they are called vibhutis. Directly empowered incarnations are the Kumaras, Narada, Prithu, Shesha, Ananta, etc. As far as vibhutis are concerned, they are very explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. That's chapter 10. Vibhuti means wealth or greatness, so that's the opulence of the Absolute. And for all these different types of incarnations, the fountainhead is the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, that second incarnation. So we'll stop here, and it's a lot of a lot of information, but a lot of stuff to kind of meditate on in the next week. All the different incarnations and the 1, 2, 3 different kinds and introduction. Vishnu. Very welcome. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Welcome. All right. So yeah, lots of